Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a little while. I had some technical problems. I'm so excited that you're here. If you don't know me, my name is Leanne and I would love for you to join our family. So go ahead and click that subscribe button if you would like to see more videos. If you enjoy this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. But I'm back with a new video. Today will be a little different. It's gonna be very informational and I really hope that it can help somebody. I know that I would have loved to see a video like this before I purchased a home. So today I'm gonna be sharing things you need to know before you buy a home. And just so you know, later on, I'm gonna get a little more into the financial aspect of buying a home, so stick around. Okay. Number one, what type of neighborhood do you want to live in? You really have to think about that because there are so many different types of neighborhoods. There's rural, there's suburban, urban, and there are also older neighborhoods, newer neighborhoods. They're all very different and they have different qualities. A newer neighborhood is gonna be a little more plain Jane, if you know what I mean. There's not too much developed. Most of the time, a lot of the houses look similar and there aren't too many trees around. It's, like I said, pretty plain. Still beautiful, still great, but it's more on the plain side. An older neighborhood is gonna be more developed. It's gonna most likely have more trees and a little more character just because it's been around longer. The houses normally look different as well because it's an older neighborhood, so they're older construction companies that built these houses, and it kind of just has a different feel depending on the neighborhood. Also, another thing that can tell a lot about a neighborhood is how the schools are around where that neighborhood is. So I would take a look at the schools, the local schools, public schools around the neighborhood that you're looking at and see what they're rated. Normally, that's a pretty great indicator of what the neighborhood might be like and what your schools might be like that you would potentially send your children to. Now, of course, if that might not be a big factor for you because maybe you don't intend to have children or maybe you intend to homeschool them or bring them to a private school, it's always a great thing to look at. Number two, location. Now, you might say, well, that's kind of the same as the first one. It's different because you want to think about where exactly your house is positioned. Is it in a corner lot? Is it in a cul-de-sac? Is it at the very end of a road? Is it on a main road? When you back out of the driveway, are you going to be backing out into heavy traffic? All of these things are really great to consider. Now, when we were shopping, we've never had a house together, my husband and I, and so we didn't know too much about living in a cul-de-sac. We thought it was an incredible idea because guess what? There's almost zero traffic in our area because it's a cul-de-sac. And of course, that's very safe for the little ones eventually when we have little ones. Now, the only thing that we didn't realize, we still love it, but the cul-de-sac is kind of an awkward shape. Your yard is very awkwardly shaped because it's in that round area. So the neighbors next to you, your next door neighbors, it kind of feels like they're in your yard or you're in their yard, if that makes sense. There's not too much privacy when it comes to a cul-de-sac. You're very close to your neighbor, and the line that defines what is your yard and what isn't is hard to tell where it is. So that's just one thing you would want to consider if you are looking at a house in a cul-de-sac. But we still love it. Another thing is a corner lot. We were looking at a corner lot. We actually wanted to place an offer on a corner lot. And I'm pretty happy we didn't get that because a corner lot is pretty busy and it's more exposed. So once again, there's not as much privacy as if you were not in a corner lot. Also, if you are gonna be located on a main road, I'm sure you can imagine that will really impact the noise that you hear with cars constantly going by, going in and out of your driveway. when people come to visit, it might be a little more challenging. We definitely did not want to live on a busy road. That is something that I wouldn't want to deal with. But if that's something that you're interested in, it's always a good thing to consider and think about the location of the house you're looking at. Number 3, what are your house must-haves? What is something that you cannot go without, that you cannot sacrifice? That could be the number of bedrooms, the number of bathrooms, whether it's upstairs, whether it's a 2-story or 1-story, whether there's a basement included, whether the kitchen is right next to the living room. What are your house must-haves? That's gonna really help you narrow down your search if you have your house must-haves. I know for me, I really wanted an open floor plan, especially when it came to the kitchen and the living room, because those are 2 rooms that we're in a lot. So if there's a wall that's separating the living room and the kitchen, the family won't really be able to be together when we're in those 2 separate rooms. So that was really important to me. That's just an example. Number 4, this might seem silly, but I thought it was really important, and I'm really happy that I did this. I listed, my husband and I, we talked about our dream desires of a house. What is something that you would just love to have in your house that maybe you've always dreamed of having, or you've seen other people have and you just would love to have it in your home? Now, these are not must-haves. You could sacrifice this because it's not exactly as important as your must-haves, but it's something that you would truly enjoy having. Now, just to give an example, a couple of those things for me was having a kitchen sink with a window. I really wanted a kitchen sink with a window. That's something that I desired. I've always wanted to be able to look outside while I wash the dishes. What a great way to pass the time. Another thing was to have a bay window area. If you picture a wall into like a curved wall, so it's more circular, but it's not a circle, it's not straight, if that makes sense. And normally there is some kind of cushion that outlines the wall, and that way you can lay there and just lay by the window. Perfect little reading nook. I've always wanted a bay window area in my house. And another thing that wasn't a must-have but was a desire was to have a basement. So those are just a couple examples of some of my dream desires. And now, why do I say that's important to know before you buy a home? Well, if one of the houses has one of those, it gives you so much more initiative to buy that home. Maybe there's something wrong with it. Maybe you have to renovate something, but it has your dream kitchen sink window. Well, you can kind of compensate, and it just makes buying that house that much more exciting when it has that specific thing that you've always wanted. Number 5, make sure that before you start shopping for houses, get pre-approved from a lender. That is so unbelievably important. You don't want to start shopping around looking for houses, and let's say that you fall in love with the house, you really, really want that house, and so you want to place an offer on it. Well, you don't have an approved letter from a lender. You cannot place an offer because the seller doesn't know that you have that money to give. So guess what? You're like, okay, well, I'm gonna quickly go get a letter. Well, I'm telling you, the house market is fast. Depending on where you live, most of the time it goes quickly, especially if it's a beautiful home. They're gonna go quick. So by the time you get approved from a lender, it's most likely going to be sold already. Make sure that you have a pre-approved letter from a lender. That's also gonna help you narrow down what price range you should be looking in. If you don't have that number, then you don't really know which houses you can afford. So you gotta get that pre-approved lender letter. Number 6, I think. Once you get a I can't say that word for some reason. Once you get a pre-approved letter from a lender, you are not stuck with that lender. Now you know about how much you can afford. Now you need to go shop for different lenders. It's not gonna hurt your credit if you look for different lenders. You have a period of time where you can shop around and it won't affect your credit. So go shop for more lenders, because guess what? Every lender is going to offer you a different interest rate, and you want the best interest rate, because most likely you will be paying this mortgage for many, many years, and the lower the interest rate, the better you're going to be. So make sure that you shop around for different lenders to find out what is the best deal for you. Number 7.
Hi, you want to say hello in the video? Say hi.
Aww.
You're the cutest cutie. You're the cutest cutie.
He's like, can you let me go? Number 7. When you are getting a house and you want to place an offer, you're going to go through the process of getting an inspection of the house. Make sure you get a thorough inspector. You want that inspector to check, I'm sorry if that's distracting. You want the inspector to check every nook and cranny of the house. Trust me when I tell you. We had a great inspector. He did find a lot of different things, but even still, he didn't find a specific thing that we've had to deal with now as homeowners. Our ceiling has started leaking from the upstairs master's bathroom. Fun. Nobody wants to deal with that. That's probably something that could have been caught before we purchased the home. So just make sure that you get a thorough inspection so you know exactly what kind of condition your potential home will be in. Number 8. This is one thing we didn't do, and I wish we did, but we didn't do it because it saved us money, to get our property line inspected or measured, whatever you want to call it. Right now, especially since we live in a cul-de-sac, it's very unclear where our property line begins and ends. We also have a very long backyard. We have a forest back there, basically. There's a lot of trees, and there's a river, and so it's very large. We don't know exactly where it ends. We have no idea. So I would highly suggest that you know what land. We know how much land we have, but we just don't know where the lines are. So I suggest to definitely get your property line checked out if you are really interested in the house. Number 8, make sure that you kind of shop around for realtors. Don't just go with the first one that presents themselves to you. We found an incredible realtor. If you are in the Charlotte area, I will link his Instagram below. He was absolutely incredible. His name is Thomas. He specializes in first-time home buyers. He was very genuine, was looking out for us every step of the way. You want to make sure that the realtor has your back and is fighting for you and is not fighting for the seller, because that would be a huge conflict of interest. So make sure that your realtor is working for you and has your best interests at heart. Our realtor had to fight for us. We had some problems going back and forth with the negotiation, and he really pulled through and helped us and was very flexible with our schedule. He met with us very late at times because my husband wouldn't get out of work until then. And it was truly an incredible experience to work with an awesome realtor that truly cares about you. Number 9, we had to learn this one the hard way. Do not offer more than you can afford. So we fell in love with this house. We wanted it so badly. Well, when we went to go place an offer, the seller came back and told us that they already have other offers, and they wanted us to offer the highest we could offer. Well, of course, we really wanted the house, and we didn't know what the other offers were going to be, so we offered a little too much. Why is that a problem? Not necessarily because we weren't approved for that amount. We were approved for that amount from our lender. But this is what happens. The house that you are placing an offer on has not been investigated for its value yet. So what happened is it was valued under what we offered. So if they accept that offer, we have to pay the difference because the lender will only loan us what the house is valued. So since we offered more than what the house is valued, we had to pay the difference. And it wasn't just a couple $100. It was a couple $1,000, okay? So learn from my mistake. Do not offer more than what you can afford. Always remember that. Number 10, make sure that your realtor knows all the in and outs and how you can negotiate, what you can do to get the best offer. We didn't know this, but our realtor told us that the sellers could pay for our closing costs. And if you don't know, closing costs can be so much money. It can be $6,000, right around that price range, a little less, a little more. Closing costs are no joke. Your seller can pay for your closing costs if you put it in the offer. And a lot of the time, they agree to paying it. Make sure that you put in your offer for your seller to pay your closing costs, because that can really help you in the long run because it's less money down. Number 11, does your house belong to an HOA, homeowners association? This is very important because every HOA operates differently, charges you differently. If you are part of an HOA, you are going to be responsible to pay them either, whether it's monthly, quarterly, yearly. You have to contribute money to your HOA. So first of all, find out how much it is. It varies so much from each neighborhood. It can be as much as $100 a month to $20 a month. Big difference. So make sure that you investigate not only the price, but what your HOA stands for, what the requirements are, because that can really make or break whether or not you want to purchase this house. I know of an HOA, one of my friends, she put a welcome sign on her door, okay? Her door that she owns, she put a welcome sign on it, and the HOA told her to remove it. Who are you? Like, what? I don't understand that because I don't know what they're trying to create, a hostile environment. Do you not want me to welcome people? Doesn't make sense. But some HOAs can be very strict and can really control what you do, what your house looks like, what color you can paint your house, what you have in your front yard. It's just, you really have to make sure that you know what your HOA requirements are and what they stand for. Number 12, it's really good to find out if your property is rising in value. You want to be able to make an investment in this house. If your house is not rising in value, in the future, if you ever need to sell or you need to move, you are going to lose money versus make money. You could make so much money off of your house. So I would really suggest in looking at the value of your home and whether or not the value is rising. You can use many different apps, websites to help you with that. It also predicts the value of your house in a few years, and it shows you how it's grown throughout the years. And then last but not least, be patient and be open-minded. Sometimes you can go into a house and it wasn't cleaned, or it's not staged right, or there's a lot of chips on the wall, or the paint is coming off. Try your best to ignore that because those are all easy fixes. You can obviously clean the house, you can paint the house, you can fix it. If it's at a great value and all you have to do is fix a couple things and clean a couple things, it will be well worth your while. Don't automatically check that house off if it just appears to be not homey and just doesn't look presentable. Try to look past that and envision what it could be. So make sure that you go into it being open-minded and being patient, because the process is long and it can be very discouraging. You can place many offers on homes and not be received. It can be sold under your feet. So just be patient and know that the right home is there for you. You just have to be patient and it'll come. Well, that's it for today. I really hope this was helpful for you. I hope you can take something from this. If you have any questions, you reach out to me. comment, ask me questions. I will be happy to answer what I know. I'm not an expert. These are just things that I've learned from buying a home, and I would love to help you. Do me a favor and comment below what is one thing that is a dream desire for you in a home. What is one thing that you would absolutely adore if it was in your home? Let me know in the comments. I would love to see your responses. All right, guys, well, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I will be back with more videos every single week, so make sure that you are subscribed, hit that bell notification, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really helps me, and don't forget to live and love out loud. Bye! And if you, oh my gosh. What? What am I saying? Stop, Mendez. What is your name? The lender, excuse me.